Alright guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 3 of All About the Arcades podcast. My name is JJGeneral1, Joe. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. As you know, we're a couple episodes in now, and I just felt like starting off this one. We got a special guest, guys. You may know him from YouTube, especially if you're listening to a podcast about arcades and things like that. His name is Matt3756, and he is from Pittsburgh, which is where I'm from. You guys have heard me say that in previous episodes. So I got him sitting here, and we're gonna ask him some questions, find out, why he does YouTube, things like that, and then we're gonna take some questions that we gathered from Instagram and Twitter and a couple social media pages, and get his answers on those. So, Matt, welcome to the show.
What's up, Joe? Thanks for having me.
Hey, not a problem, man. First thing I really want to talk about is, who are you? Who is Matt3756, and then how can they find you on the social media pages?
Thank you, Joe, for having me, and awesome to be here. So, my name is Matt, and Matt3756 is a channel that I have on YouTube that does gameplay of arcade games, claw machines, coin pushers, even branched out to like mini golf and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like a fresh take on Let's Plays and just bringing it to like real life fun activities, I guess, if you will. That's kind of like, I guess, the best description of who Matt3756 is.
Well, that's awesome, man. So, okay, going on that with the 3756, I know you get this question a lot, so we're just going to put it out there, and hopefully this answers it once and for all. But I know it won't, because you're always going to get this question. Yeah. What do those numbers mean?
Well, as we're filming this or recording this podcast right now, my channel is almost 12 and a half years old, and it was just I think part of an old email address I had when signing up with Google, and I just used that. It was a long time ago, man. I was still in high school. Let's see, no, 06. No, I was a year out of high school, and my friend suggested YouTube to me, one of my high school buddies, and that's how I was just, it was a lot of those. It was a time when, online video, there wasn't really one specific site for it to go to. Like Google had their Google video and stuff like that. So I was just trying a bunch of things, and I think that was an old email address I had, and that's where the numbers came from.
So it's just one of those things like when you're back in the day and you're trying to think of a name, like, when we were all kids, man, we all came up with stupid stuff. I had some stupid names. I had one that was Big Mink 16 when I was 16 years old. Why? Because I was 16 years old, I was immature, and I just, trying to figure out what did I want to do as a name. Of course, that's not a professional name for, later on in life. You're not thinking like that. Hey, if I ever have a career or a job or something, what's going to be the case behind it? So, yeah, you're usually your first one you start when you're young, and it's like, oh man, I just, what was I thinking? Especially when you get older. Like now I look back and it's like, what the heck was I thinking for real?
Right. I do that now. I'm so bummed that I didn't know YouTube was going to be, my channel was going to be anything, guys. Like literally, I figured maybe 50, 100 people would watch at most, if that. I don't know. I didn't know that this was going to be like this. This is insane, or I would have made my channel name something different. I think we're kind of in it too deep now, so the 3756 is going to stay. So that's where we're at.
If you had any choice now, like let's say you could actually change it and formulate it, what would you choose, if anything?
I have an idea, but I don't want to give it out because...
Well, how about like your second idea?
Second idea. All right. Well, I only had one idea. Wait, now hold on.
I could see you being like the arcade guru or something. I mean, there's probably a couple, like every name with arcade or claw or whatever is like out there taken now. And the reason being is because of, yourself sitting here. You're definitely an influencer to a lot of people out there to start their channels, record themselves out there playing. Like, you get that a lot of people have just been inspired by you to say, hey, I'm going to go record myself because, everyone's got an iPhone now or Android device with a good camera. It doesn't take much to edit and throw it up on YouTube and be like, hey, that's actually a good video. So going back on that, you being an influencer, how about when you started your channel? Did you have any influences besides like a friend that said, hey, check out YouTube or anything? I mean, I know you said before on different aspects of your media out there that you went to college for video editing and things like that. Was that a big influence or?
No, because that college was actually before, when I first signed up. But it was kind of in that process. It was I was actually going to start community college. I think I took a year off and then started in 2007. Community college? I don't know. Man, it's been a long time ago. It shows my age, but no. So, like, YouTube was made, and then I was, like, kind of just getting into college for TV video. As far as, like, inspirations, I'd probably, I admired, like, a lot of actors, that were just on TV and stuff like that, because there wasn't really any internet celebrities back then. I mean, there was Fred. That was about it, man. That's all we had was Fred. Nothing against him, he became really successful, but I got inspired by a lot of some actors on TV. Like, I like Ben Stiller, and I think he's really funny, and like guys like Adam Sandler and stuff like that. And I kind of wanted to do like acting / comedy, but YouTube kind of, years down the road kind of just started taking off, and that kind of fulfilled my dream of at least being on camera and providing content, to an audience. So
that's awesome, man. All right, so going back into like before college, before high school, all that stuff, it seems like you've been an arcade fanatic for a long time. There's a great name for a YouTube channel for anyone out there.
There you go. Fanatic with a fun, F-U-N, get it? Because it's spelled F-A-N.
PH fanatic.
Oh.
I don't know, something crazy. But going back to your like childhood, do you remember your like earliest arcade experience? Maybe where you played at, or like, because I mean, I know around Pittsburgh here, since we both grew up around here, we had a couple malls around the area that definitely had like Tilt arcades, and I don't think it's the same Tilt as it is now, the Tilt Studios. What were some of your like earliest memories and games you played, things you remember?
Yeah, well, actually, it's up here in Cranberry, Safari Sam's.
Man, I don't know that one.
You don't know Safari Sam's?
Well, I'll be honest, I never was in Cranberry before like 2002.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, Safari Sam's used to be up actually near Fun for All. I think it was right in that plaza thing, and you went in. And they had like one of those things you crawl through and stuff like that, and they had an arcade there, and they had like some token games and stuff like that. But one of my first arcades was actually at Northern Lights. It's in Baden, Pennsylvania, which I'm from Ambridge, so it's just the next town over. But it was a place called Callahan's, and it was like a Dave and Buster's main event kind of thing, where they had like just like a restaurant, and they would have like special events there, and they would have always like sports games and stuff on TV. But they had a really, really cool arcade with really good prizes, and they had a lot of token action games. Because when I was little, token action games were in, and I remember on a few games there was this one, and I think it's up in Canada. That I just had timed with getting the token in there and dumping the thing and hitting the jackpot, and the tickets would just keep coming and coming. I think sometimes that one of my first memories was the tickets just wouldn't stop coming out, and I'd have to go to the counter and be like, this game won't stop spitting out tickets. And I would wait, though, for a little bit. I'd wait for maybe 15, 20 minutes till I got 5,000 tickets.
Oh, man,
but
that's
they
crazy.
let me keep the tickets, and yeah, that was one of my first memories, and that was before I even had a camera or anything to film with. The first time I got a claw win on film, you do see this footage in some of my intros and stuff. It was at a bowling alley in Baden. Again, Baden's kind of where it started, but it was the day after I got my very first camcorder. It was a VHS-C, and we were at the bowling alley, and it took me $3 to get this little white teddy bear, but we got it, and that was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. So, Baden was the place to hang out.
Yeah, I guess.
Back in the day. I'll just tell you real quick, what I remember was Greengate Mall in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, because I grew up, a little ways away from Matt.
Yeah.
I wish I had known him a lot sooner in life, obviously. But it was a Tilt arcade there in the mall. And I remember like the skee ball and the basic games like that, and then like the ones that were ported to home consoles, like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, things like that. Like that was the arcade back then. There wasn't really a lot of redemption now like there is now. Like a lot of places have the big ticket prizes and like candy and things like that. And back then, I mean, yeah, you had some ticket prizes, but your biggest things were like little plastic toys that you won.
Yep.
So I mean. So that was mine, and I mean I absolutely love it. But your specialty, and you're known as the claw guy because you know everything inside and out about claw machines. Like I don't think there's a thing you don't know about claw machines. You could probably go look at one, say, oh, it's this type of claw, it's from here, the size of the claw, it's this type of claw, who made it, things like that. It's got this circuit board in it and things like that. I'm sure you could absolutely do that, right?
Yeah, it's, it all started, I've been playing them since I can remember, little kid, and I've just been so obsessed with them. And I remember just these little places here and there, like restaurants and whatnot, would have these random little ones just there. It'd be like one of those button ones up and across big choices. And, I wasn't really good when I was little at the claw machine. Like, I was not good at all. I would spend sometimes a lot of money and maybe get one thing, maybe get nothing, But, and then I finally ended up getting my own Greyhound machine, because I've always wanted, that was my very first brand that I got. Because I always wanted my own real claw machine. I was that obsessed with the game. So, like, gutting it and everything, I kind of started learning how they worked and whatnot. And, I mean, for the most part, I can just be like, by looking at a machine, I always say, okay, it's kind of like a flow chart. It's like, okay, so we start at the top of the flow chart. It's old or new. So if it's like, is it like an older machine? You can usually tell, you know what I mean, just by the design and the colors and whatnot.
Now what do you mean between older and newer? Like an older one would have like those, like the lights on your machine at your house, like the incandescent lights.
Yeah, the
things?
bigger bulbs, the kind of 70s, 80s design colors. Newer, what you're gonna see like rainbow LEDs, and you could, and like the joysticks, for example, you can kind of tell.
And probably even the displays on the credits and stuff.
Right,
there might be a better. I mean, they still use that 8-segment LEDs, but it might be like an updated version compared to like the very old ones with the alarm clock. Remember the alarm clocks back in the 90s, man? Remember the alarm clocks in the 90s that had the 8-segment LEDs? No. Like the real thick, big ones.
Alarm clock?
Yeah, alarm clocks, man.
On a claw machine?
No, not on a claw machine, but just in general. The alarm clocks in general, they had those displays. Like, you could tell they're real faded or not real bright.
Right.
Like, newer machines are going to have that really bright, basically to grab your attention kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, and then you kind of go from there down the flow chart. So you say, okay, what brand of machine is it? If it's a big choice, the name, then you might be like, it might be skill-based. But if it's newer, then it could have, basically, older or newer. The newer machines are going to have the ones that are, on like a payout rate and stuff like that. But I think we'll get more into that a little bit later.
Well, I talked about the payout rates and different types of claw machines in the last episode. I mean, you listened to it, Matt, and you said, hey, you touched a lot of good topics there.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Is there anything else you think you could add to that as far as what I've touched? I said about the strength ones, the fixed strength, the payout ones, and the randomizers.
Right. Yeah, no, I think you covered them all. I mean, the randomizers are obviously the newest ones, and even I, unfortunately, like I have a little diamond claw machine, and that one is on you can do it on a set payout rate, so like 1 in 8, but it's like you can count it like theoretically, and you would know when it's going to grab full strength, but unfortunately, I don't think any of us have a machine with a randomizer in it, so how those work are obviously more complex, but that is the idea. But no, I mean, I think you covered it pretty well. I think the thing I just want to reiterate is that, there are still a bunch of claw machines out there that are skill-based. These games have such a bad reputation, and it's funny because they got a bad reputation when they were skill-based, when they were all skill-based. They only grabbed one fixed strength, you know what I mean? And they were getting the reputation that they were. Now, it does depend on the vendor and whatnot, and, a lot of vendors don't pay attention to how big their claw is, to how big the prizes they're putting in there, and sometimes it's just like, okay, that is never going to grab that. It's not even physically possible, you know, but I guess maybe that's kind of where they got a bad rap. But they're, you know, to the ones that are set up fairly, they are out there, you just got to find them, they are skill-based, and I think, you know, that's just kind of one of those things I wanted to reiterate.
I mean, some of the things from watching your videos, Matt, things you've pointed out, tips for winning at the claw. I mean, you have a couple videos that have that kind of content in it. You know, it all depends on how you get the claw around the plush, you know, how it's sitting. You know, does it have to tug it out from underneath other stuff? You know, is there anything sitting on top of it? You know, things like that. And people think like, oh, it didn't pick it up, so it's got to be rigged. And that's not necessarily the case. It could just be it fell wrong. You may have like stabbed the plush, you know, in the head or the stomach or its booty, as you always like saying, pick it up by the booty. But I mean, yeah. So there was that article out there, and actually a segment. I think it was on like 60 Minutes or something, where they actually used your video, right?
Yeah, I gave them permission. It was everywhere. That video. It was on Good Morning America, everything. They used the segment, but it was so funny because I don't know if I told you, but the segment that they used was like, for example, on the Big Choice up and across at Aces in Beer Valley Mall, and it's like that's a strength. That one's all skill based. It's just I didn't have a good grabber on the prize, but they were, you know, they kind of just. I don't think they were after specifics. They just needed like video to go with what they were saying. You know what I mean? But still, it's misrepresentation. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, sometimes you'll have that in the media where they take things and spin it and try to take it to their agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But we're not gonna get on that crazy topic, obviously. But the other thing too is like, you know, the plush. How heavy is the plush? Right. You know, like you always point out, oh, it could be beanie, and if you know. Plush's beanie, it's definitely heavier and harder to get a grip on because the beans are going to shift in there, especially when the claw grabs it, and you're going to like, okay, it might slip out just because of the way it moves.
Right, yeah, and Joe's making awesome points here because, like, you know, it's not just one factor that determines whether you're going to win or lose, you know, like most people think. There's a lot of physics. It's a physical game, you know, the claw game, and there's a lot of stuff involved that some of it being in the player's control and other things not being in the player's control. But yeah, like one thing, I may do a video on this in the future, something along the lines of plush density is what I like to call it, because there's different manufacturers of different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of interesting. What do you mean by plush density? Like the shape of it, the size of it, what's inside of it, like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so kind of like I'm basically going to take a X-Acto knife and cut their bellies open. I know it sounds violent, guys, but seriously, I'm doing this for a reason. This is experiment purposes, guys. These plush have signed a thing to sacrifice their life for this. No, I don't know what I'm saying, but no, seriously, I would probably get a couple and cut them open because different manufacturers stuff their plush using different materials, different densities. You know, like I know National Entertainment Network, aka Sugarloaf, theirs are very dense. So like you know, there's not, if you try to squish them, they don't retain, they don't like, you know, like you know how a memory foam mattress kind of holds its shape a little bit.
Yes.
Or there's some flexibility in it. No, you can tell like there's a lot of stuffing in their plush. Some plush are very just like weak and. You know, and that plays a very important factor, like you were saying, you know, on if it's going to be easy or tough to win from a claw machine. That's
very true, and I mean, I think I've noticed in some of your videos as well. Like, we did one where I helped you film at Steak and Shake one time, where it's $1 a play and a real big plush. But I mean, it's a bigger claw, so it can grab them, and they were really soft. Like they weren't stuffed full, they weren't rigid, kind of like a piñata. Like I guess a good way to put it would be like, and I'm just coming up with this right now. Like if it looks like and it moves like it's going to be a piñata, or it's solid like cardboard kind of.
Right.
It's probably going to be really hard to win unless you have a really good claw that can get around it and hold it tight. And like the thing is, you know, if it's going to be stuffed with stuff too, it could still slip out of the claw because the claw only has so much strength, which. As we say strength, it's actually voltage to the claw that closes it, and it, you know, it can only hold so much. You know, like you think about your hands, you know, you're trying to carry grocery bags up from the car or something. And,
one trip.
Yeah, you try to do it one trip, but I mean, if you have way too much, and you know you don't have the strength for it, you're not going to be able to carry it all. And that's kind of like an example to, you know, give you guys. Is an idea to get in your heads to be like, okay, this is how the claw works. So
yeah.
All right, guys, so that's just a little bit of talk on the claw machines and things like that. Next thing I want to do is I want to talk about we're going to transition back to you and your YouTube channel. So when you started out, how long did it take you to get because people get frustrated all the time. You hear it's like, oh man, I only have 20 subs, or hey, I only have 50 subs, or, and then there's people like, oh my God, I hit 100 subs. So thinking back, Matt, when you hit your first 100 subs, your first 1,000 subs, what went through your mind, and were you thinking to yourself oh my God, people really want to watch this stuff, or did you ever think it would take off the way it did?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And honestly, I think if my math serves me correct, I think it took me a couple years just to get anywhere from 300 to 500 subscribers. And
really?
Yeah, because I remember getting recognized the very first time in Steak and Shake, and I think I only had 300 or 500 subscribers, and that was when I started doing claw videos, which wasn't for a couple years after I created my YouTube channel, So, it took a while, but I never signed up with the intent, and you couldn't sign up back then with the intent to make it a job or worrying about money and stuff like that. I just wanted somewhere to upload my silly videos to, and if 1 or 2 people watched them, then that would be phenomenal. I didn't really have any crazy expectations at the time.
I think back then, a lot of people did that. It's just somewhere to store my videos so I can reference them at any time. They're online. Basically what is now known as cloud storage. I mean, that wasn't a thing back then. It wasn't even a word of cloud storage. Nobody knew. They just said, oh, you threw it up online and now it's there, But I think a lot of people did. I know I did that. I uploaded videos of flooding after raining, and my friends doing crazy stuff, in the playground or something. It was just somewhere to put stuff that, hey, I want other people to see this, and instead of trying to burn it to a DVD or something and having area or sending it to them, because back then phone plans, we didn't have data and stuff like we did now. We had the 1X networks of Verizon and AT&T that were slow as hell compared to now. But you're just you couldn't send videos longer than 10 seconds to someone. So if you had something that was a minute and a half long or 5 minutes long, you had no way to show them, because even email back then was limited. And this YouTube came around, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, hey, look, I'm at the zoo with my family, and I'm going to show the rest of my family what the kids did today or something. And I think that was the whole idea behind it, that most people started their channels. And then in, 2008 or so, they started offering small partnership programs to people. Hey, you can put ads on your channel and make a little bit of money, and we'll share the ad with you. Google AdSense came around and things like that. And then you could oh, hey, I could put my ads on my webpage and things like that. And that's the whole Google AdSense in a nutshell. But so most of us started our channels just for fun, just to be hey, somewhere to store stuff, basically, without having an external hard drive on your computer or taking up your hard drive that you had in your computer.
Yeah, because they weren't that, we were lucky to, I don't even remember what they were, but 50 gigabytes was
unheard of.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
2007 or 8, yeah.
Computers had, maybe if you're lucky, 128 gigs of RAM tops. And that's just RAM. Your actual storage space was maybe 300, and it would be $300 or $400 for one of those hard drives, right. 300 gigabytes. Now you got, I've got sitting here on the computer, I got, 17 terabytes of storage space. Not that much. It's 7, but it takes a while to fill that up, even recording in high def video. So you think about back then what it was and what it is now, and stuff recorded in way less resolution back then. Right. So it wasn't it wasn't a lot of space. It evened
out. I think as technology just kept growing, it just YouTube and everything kind of just followed with it. Because I never had the option for HD and recently 4K now. It's amazing they can host all that stuff.
4K is insane.
Yeah, it's not
worth
it right now.
It's so hard to render.
Yeah, I always tell people, you don't need some crazy 4K camera. I don't even film in 4K, and I know a lot of people don't even film in 4K, unless you're doing, really, really insane short films or something that you're going to put in Sundance or whatever.
If you want something that's going to be professional cinema, then I could see 4K. But 1080p is perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, I know.
60 frames per second. Remember that, guys. 60 frames,
frames.
not 30.
Well,
60.
It depends on your taste.
Yeah, true, but I mean, 60 gets it a little bit smoother of a
It
look.
does.
So.
Yeah, I used to film actually 30 for the longest time, and then I recently converted over because, like Joe said, it it is smoother, and it's just it's nice for when I want to do slow motion on some of like the arcade games. Then you get more frames, and it's more fluid. So it's like a slow motion that you see on football on TV. It's just real smooth, no choppy.
That is absolutely true. And we kind of got off topic there with the technology and the hard drive space. So back to YouTube again. We'll drive it back to there. Again, it was like an online storage space to put your stuff. And I mean, so do you remember when you hit like 10,000 subscribers? Like what did you do whenever you saw that number? Like, oh my God, there's 10,000 people that actually want to see this stuff that I do regularly.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. This is a very strange niche that we're in here. It's a very specific niche, and it's
Absolutely.
It's not like, I don't know. It's amazing. I think that even 10,000 people at the time were into because I never thought anybody was into claw machines. You know what I mean? Like. When I was little, I remember saying to myself, am I the only one that likes these goofy things? And I'd go around playing them and filming them, man, was nice because then I could go home and watch them. And then when I couldn't play the claw machine, the video would kind of get my fill in, you know what I mean? Like it would fulfill my
get your fix like an
fix.
addiction.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
You're watching it and then you're entertained by it and you're like, hey, maybe other people will be entertained by this. And it's just kind of funny that you like just decide to start throwing stuff up. Now, at what point? I mean, I've gone back in your channel and I've looked at some of the older stuff. I really love it's funny. I know it's cringy to you. The one where you're on your bed and you're talking to yourself. Do you remember that video?
Yes.
And I know it was a test for you, testing the split screen thing and all that.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to me because it was like, how do you do that? And I mean, you just you were having fun with that, and it was like, man, like this is what he started with, and now look where he's at. And I mean, it's still on his channel. I mean, they're still out there. You can go back and watch his videos.
I warned you, so don't come complaining, being like, Matt, it's cringy. I'm gonna be like, hey, we warned you, man. So I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, so you started, what was it, about 2008 uploading
2006.
but actually uploading the arcade videos.
Stuff? Yeah. We went to Ocean City in 27. So yeah, mid 27 or 2007.
27, huh?
27, yeah, whatever.
Matt, you're so old, 1927.
Whatever year that was,
Okay, so, I mean, but like you said, it took a couple of years to get even 500 to 1,000.
Right.
And, I mean, now people can grow just because the sheer amount of people that have access to YouTube, and it grows every day, obviously, as more, countries develop, get more internet access, and people discover you, just out of sheer everything. I mean, there's so much that you can follow and do and watch on YouTube that I like to, there's some nights I'll be sitting here watching stuff, and it's like, next thing I know, it's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, you're like, why am I watching this?
Like, how did I get to here? And it's like, it's funny because I watched a really big YouTuber named Jax Films one time, and he actually he asked his fans he has like 4 million subs or something. Not saying you're not huge yourself, Matt. I mean, 1.2 million. I mean, come on.
I'm not.
Matt, come on. You're a star to everybody.
Matt, and that's it.
You're a star to everybody. They love you. And you know what? I tell you what. When I'm out filming with you, man. Well, let me get back to my original point first before I say this. That Jax Films dude, he took a thing from Suggestions for Fans to connect two topics. And he somehow did it. Like, sometimes it would take like 70 videos, but he would do it.
Oh, you mean going from like suggested?
Going from the suggested videos of what he's watching to connect two topics, and he did it. It was incredible to watch. So look up his channel, guys. Jax Films. Seriously, I'm shouting him out. He's a cool dude. I hope he hears this at some point because he'd be like, "Oh, hey, dude, somebody check me out." But no, he's a cool dude. But getting back to what I was saying now about, when I'm filming with you, man, and you get recognized in the arcades, I'm sure you're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I can't believe they recognize me kind of thing.
I do. Like, it's very weird. And it's not like in an annoyed way. I'm so like, it's like it's happening for the first time every time someone recognizes me. Like, I don't think I'll ever, because I'm just that kind of guy. I don't think it'll just ever sink in.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. The first time that I met you, when I was at meet and greet, man, at Nick's Arcade, I'll remember this because it was like I was starstruck when I walked in. I will absolutely admit it, man. I was starstruck, and now I see, these mostly kids, kids, teenagers, but sometimes adults come up and, recognize you and want a picture, a hug, whatever, sign a plush for me. And it's like, you don't realize it, but you're really making their day. Like you've maybe they're feeling sad or something, and then all of a sudden they see you, and it's like, hey, they feel so much better about stuff. Because I know you get a lot of comments like that on your videos, like, hey, I was feeling down, or I was depressed, or maybe a pet died, or a loved one died, and they watch your videos, and just you, being a cheery, awesome person that you
goofy.
are.
You gotta add Goofy in
okay,
there.
We'll put Goofy in there too. So cheery, goofy, awesome guy that you are. Just, it's like a pick-me-up for them, and you almost feel like, I don't know how to say it, but more like a friend, like
right.
Someone that they can turn to be like, anytime I feel down, I can watch his videos, and it feels like he's talking to me, and I can, even talking to a video back, inanimately,
right?
It's like therapeutic almost, and these people just love you for that, and it's crazy, that you have that type of effect, but you don't realize you're having that type of effect until someone actually says it. Now, how does that make you feel, man? Like that you're helping people through tough times in their lives just by entertaining them,
Right. I don't think I could ask for anything better in life. YouTube is my full-time job, yes, and that's how I support myself. But the fact that it turned into something that I can actually, help people through rough times and help people that are feeling down. I mean, that's success, in my opinion, right there. I am so thankful to be able to get to do that for a living. And I never thought it would turn into that. Just me being goofy. I never thought that it would eventually turn into not only a full-time job, but turn into something that helps people. And that's that's rewarding as heck.
That's awesome, man. I got to be your friend. I don't know how that worked out back then, but it just kind of did that, I started helping you film stuff, and then next thing I know, I'm down your house and hanging out, and we're at the arcades and whatever. But it's like, I'm so glad that I actually got to meet you as a person and as a friend now. And I really wish, honestly, and this is me talking from the bottom of my heart now, man. I'm going to try to make it cry here. I really wish that we would have met way earlier in life, because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I'll be honest. I had one or two really good friends, and I was a dork. I was the quiet kid. I always kept to myself. And I socialized with people, but not all the time. Never outside of school and things like that. So, I started watching your videos probably around, I think I was around the 180,000 subscriber mark back in 2013, I want to say, somewhere around there. So I haven't been there since the beginning, guys. I'm not going to admit that. I'm never going to say it. I know I was there before 1 million. I'll say that. But I know it was around over 100,000 and before 1 million, we'll say. But then I started watching. I'm like, dude, this dude's from Pittsburgh, and he likes doing the same stuff that I do. I like going to Dave & Buster's. I like going to arcades at the mall. Man, I gotta meet this dude. I wanna hang out with him. I wanna talk to him. I wanna be like, yo, dude, let's play games together. But then you had that meet and greet at Nick's Arcade, or Nick's place, up in Edinburgh, and Erie, Edinburgh.
Yeah.
We'll call it Erie because that's a more recognized name. And I walked in, and I just remember this. I walked in the arcade because I walked in the front, and I'm like, okay, where do I go from here? Because I can see the mini golf course, and I can see the driving range and all that stuff, and I'm like, all right. So I go around to the counter, and I asked the girl, I'm like, well, where's the arcade at? And she's like, oh, it's right there. And if I had looked and paid attention, it was obvious it was right there. But I walked in, and I remember seeing you surrounded by, you were at the claw machines, and you were surrounded by probably about 15 or 20 kids. And you were just like, oh, hey, we're going to win this, and we're going to do this and that. And I was like, oh, man. And I remember, seeing the one dude that was helping you film there. I can't remember his name. I know he put himself in the video when you did the meet and greet video. But so sorry if I forget your name, man. But you're in the video. Shout out to you. Totally awesome for filming for him, because you were just a fan there as well. But I remember hiding from you, like, in the camera. Like, I walked in, guys, seriously, I was, like, nervous. I'm like, oh, my God, like, there he is. Like, he's right there. And then I'm like, dude, he's really short.
That's the reaction I usually get. It's like, wow, you're a lot shorter than I thought you were. Like, yeah, unfortunately.
And it's funny, too, because, like, when we take pictures together, like, if selfies or whatever, I tower over you. And, like, when I try to film for you, I try to hold the camera down in front of me at your level, because I don't want it to be, like, facing down on you.
Look like I'm a little midget.
I want you to be staring straight ahead at it and not looking up at it, obviously. Right. So if you guys notice that anytime I'm filming for Matt, I try to film straight on to him.
Yeah, he does a good job, I think.
He tells me that, but I know I screw up stuff all the time.
No, you don't.
No, but I mean, it was fun at that Nick's place, you know, and playing the games. And then I watched you do your intro there, and I'm like, oh my God, that's how he does it. Like, this is crazy. And then I showed you my deal or no deal skills.
That was insane. Like, I was not expecting that. He comes along and sits at the deal or no deal machine, and I'm like, whoa, who are you? And
well, I think at first, you were out, I don't remember if you went outside for something and came back in, and I had like a pile of tickets sitting there, because I remember it was 400 tickets for the win. Yeah. And I must have won like 3 or 4 times before you came back in. And you're like, dude, how'd you win all those tickets? And I'm like, oh, I can follow the cases. And you're like, nah.
Yeah, I didn't believe him.
And then he's like, can I film you doing it? And I'm like, I was totally like nervous, like, okay. And I mean, if you watch that video and some of Matt's earlier videos that I appear in, even some of my own, like from way back in the beginning on my channel, you can tell I'm very nervous. I don't know how to talk to the camera. I don't know how to act in front of the camera. Like, you know, they say be yourself, but you know, you gotta think like people are watching you, and sometimes you get a little nervous.
It's easy for some people and it's tough for some people. Like Phil at Gamer Green, he doesn't know how I talk just to a camera, like by my side. Like I love it. Like he's like, now for me, I can't. You know, public speaking is not my forte, you know, so doing this podcast is fine because there's no audience in front of us, but
yeah,
if I have to do panels and public speaking, oh boy, I have the worst fear ever, you know, and I think it just takes practice, to be honest, especially with, like, being on camera and stuff like that, and, you know, some people just don't like it, but you know, I think for most people it's just something that you can learn and just starting to get more comfortable after each time, you know, and kind of just building your character and just, you know, being yourself.
Well, the thing is, too, I mean, sometimes people play characters on camera and sometimes people don't. I mean, and what you see with me and Matt, I mean, that's how we are in real life. Yeah, I mean,
pretty much.
Minus a little bit of the rolling on the floor stuff and screaming and all that stuff. But, I mean, you know, we get genuinely excited when we hit a jackpot or we win a major prize or something like that. And that is a genuine reaction. And I mean, you could see it like I said in my videos. You could probably see it in Matt's videos too. Like I remember watching some older coin pusher videos where he had the lip ring and the
I was things, a rebel,
and the black hair. Remember the dark black hair?
Oh man, got the highlights. Man.
So I mean, you can tell like you kind of know how to talk to the camera, but you were like unsure still. Like you were just kind of like okay, like monotone, the robot monotone.
Yeah,
thing.
Well, I didn't know that it was going to be more of kind of like an entertainment thing, like, you know, being like a goofy thing. When I started Journey to the Claw Machine, it was going to be more like just an informational thing. And if you go back to the very first Journey to the Claw episode, I was very monotone and boring, and it just sounded like I hated my life and didn't want to be at the arcade. It was, you know, but I think as I saw the channel grow, then I kind of grew myself and kind of just developed and kind of just... I'm thinking like, oh, you know, we can make this fun, you know, and we don't have to be miserable. You know what I mean? No, it wasn't like that. But, you know, like you grow as your channel grows. And so your voice, if that makes sense, you know, grows. But, you know, like you said, though, as far as the reactions and stuff like that, and just I guess like our personalities, you know, I try to keep it real because, and that's one thing I tell people that are starting out YouTube. They say, you know, how do I grow my channel? What do I film? I always say, film something you enjoy, because if you film something you enjoy, then it's going to show automatically on camera.
Absolutely.
And that will, you know, in turn make people want to watch you, and, you know, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, just don't get that, you know, don't be the robot monotone. Don't be scared of the camera.
Yeah, just be you.
Just be you. Just act like you're talking to another person sitting next to you in the room, because honestly, that's all it is. I mean, that's what we're doing right now.
That's why it's YouTube. Get it?
All right, so we're going to take a quick little break, guys. We'll be back right after this. Alright guys, my name is JJGeneral1 and you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/user/JJGeneral1. You can also follow me on my social media pages on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all at JJGeneral1, and my Facebook fan page at facebook.com/JJGeneral1, YouTube, all one word. And don't forget to check me out on YouNow. I do live streams every now and then, YouNow.com/JJGeneral1. Again, this is the All About the Arcades podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and back to the content. Alright guys, so if you're just listening, if you somehow skipped ahead in the podcast for whatever reason, if something got boring at the beginning and you're looking for something interesting, we're back from the ad there. And I'm talking with Matt3756, guys, who is like, I guess we could call him the godfather of the YouTube arcade genre because he was on top for so long. And I mean, I know he's not on top anymore, but he's still like one of the highest subscribed arcade guys on YouTube. And I don't think there's many people that can get, say that distinction. There's like 4 of you guys or something that are up over 1 million, right?
Well, yeah, but Alan Kavorkov too is a smaller arcade YouTuber, and I think he needs some credit as well. I think me and him are one of the first two. He had a claw machine, and he uploaded kind of like a tips and tricks video too. And to my knowledge, we were maybe the first two that kind of started the niche, but we're all family. So
I forgot about Alan. So thank you for reminding me. Sorry, Alan. I'm apologizing right now. I'm totally sorry. No, BeTheClaw.com is his page. Check him out, guys. He's doing stuff now with the Be the Claw kids. He's doing stuff with his kids. He got himself, I think, a Lucky Cup claw machine for his house.
Yeah.
And so he's been doing that lately, and that's been a lot of fun to watch, him and his kids playing. So they're just having fun and entertaining people. But going on a different topic now, outside of the YouTube realm and all that. I mean, even though this kind of ties back into it. So you have a couple of pets, and they're kind of famous.
Piggy and Goober.
People know them, Piggy and Goober, guys. Matt has 2 cats. People are always asking where are they at, how are they doing, and I believe your mom even wrote a book about one of them, right?
She did, yeah. She wrote a book about Piggy. It's called Piggy, and you just look it up on Amazon. Just type in Piggy book, and you can probably find it there. Yeah, she's an author. She writes, and the Piggy book's a little more of a funny thing. It's about like what the cat does when I'm not home, because what do our pets do when they're not home, and the cat gets all in kind of crazy shenanigans and all that stuff. But the cats are doing well, and Piggy's, I think, 13, 14. She's getting up there.
She's getting up there.
But I'll tell you what, she'll grab a toy just randomly when I'm editing and whatnot. I can hear her running. I mean, through the house. I mean, the cat got some life in her still, especially for her. She likes to eat all the time, and she's fat, and she doesn't get much exercise. But when she does, man, she moves. And Goober's just wound up all the time. But yeah, they're great, and I love my cats.
Now you had a channel dedicated to Piggy, right?
Yeah, Iggy the Piggy Cat. I don't upload it on it anymore, but I don't know why, because I went back there. And some of the videos had like 21,000 views. Like a lot of them did. And I'm like, where did these come from?
Hey, if it's out there, people are going to find it.
Yeah. Well, I have a second channel. It's just Top Thrill Matt, all one word. And I kind of just been condensing everything to there. And I'll probably upload even cat videos there too. I don't know if I'm going to continue the Iggy the Piggy the Piggy the Cat channel. A lot of those. But yeah,
the Iggy the Piggy the Cat channel.
Yeah.
The channel.
So much.
No. Well, how about you take the videos from there and put them on your Top Thrill Mac? Because then maybe some people who but some people who didn't see them the first time or weren't aware maybe can see them and then get an idea of who your cats are.
Yeah. I sometimes feature them in the videos and live streams. Piggy doesn't like when I live stream or when I'm doing video because she knows like when I have my camera voice on. And she'll just either run up and go like in my room, or she'll go and hide. Cause maybe she knows that I'm gonna grab her and try to bring her on camera. I don't know. But Goober is the camera hog, man. She's there regardless.
She has this weird thing about licking you.
Yeah, Goober, the younger cat, always likes to lick me. I don't know if it's because I eat a lot of salt and I'm like a salt block. I don't know what it is, man. But the cat just loves to lick nose, face, and it's like ew. Stop!
Are you sure you're not dirty and she's trying to clean you?
I swear, man. I shower every day, bro, like Jake Paul. Well, I don't even know if he showers every day, but Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the salt. I eat a lot of salt, and she loves my taste. I don't know.
Well, I mean, so you said that your mom wrote a book on it, and where you said it was called just Piggy, right?
Yep, just Piggy.
And your mom's name is
Karen Molina, Malena. You can look that up on Amazon too. Her name, and I think you'll be able to find like a list of her books on there as well.
And I believe she has a Facebook fan page for her writing. Correct? Yeah. Do you remember the name of it offhand? I think it's her name, creative writing,
I think, or something.
I'd say just look up Karen Molina creative.
Just look up right.
And that might lead you to it. It's like a 3-word thing after. I don't remember. I'm sorry, Karen. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing to a lot of people.
You can link it in the wherever, maybe.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe in the metadata, I'll try to put it in there. But I'm going to put your info in there. So
yeah.
But yeah, guys. So he, it's kind of ironic because we got a guinea pig, me and Michelle, and we named him Piggy. Well, Piglet. We just call him Piggy, and sometimes Bum Bum.
Bum Bum. Piggy for short.
The Bum. He has a couple different names, but he knows all of them, and he comes running over when we get home. He'll chew on the side of the cage until we give him some carrots or lettuce or some type of vegetable. Right now, he's eating his hay out of his hay bag. We can see him where we're sitting here. Oh, he's jumping around there. But yeah, so I mean, we all love our pets, guys. Give your pets a big hug tonight if whatever you have, hamster, dog, cat, turtle. You can't hug a fish, but give
them some loving.
Give a little extra food or something tonight. But the next topic I want to talk about is, and this is a question that a lot of us get, especially the ambassadors for this company. You are basically the face of Gamer Green.
I guess.
I mean, you've kind of evolved into that and became that because you are like their number one guy on their ambassador webpage. Like, you are the top guy. I can't remember what the title is called. I mean, there's the Platinum Gamers, there's the Millionaires Club, the people who have garnered 1 million G's.
Yeah, that's impressive.
There's quite a few of them out there, believe it or not. And now with those Gamer Green arcades, it's a lot easier for people to earn G's. If only we had one in Pittsburgh, right, Phil?
Hint.
But anyways, so Gamer Green is a company that kind of partnered with National Entertainment Network, Sugarloaf, to get into the claw machines that we talked about earlier, the NEN and Sugarloaf ones that, now you're not going to be able to find them anymore because Toys R Us is closed, Kmart's closed. Sometimes they're in Walmart's. You got to find them in Walmart's, maybe.
Hopefully they'll be going somewhere else.
You got to look. They have like Walmart is probably the easiest ones to define them, where it just says like Toy Shop or Super Shop and stuff like that. If it says like Pinnacle and things like that, chances are it's a Namco machine, which is not an NEN. And unfortunately, we have a ton of Namco machines around Pittsburgh here.
Unfortunately, I don't like them either because they're just, I don't know, I don't think they're as fair as the National Entertainment Network ones.
That's true. I don't win as much from the Pinnacle ones. But anyways, so Gamer Green is a company that was founded by Phil Marzullo, and I hope I said his name right. But they kind of, like, how did you get involved with them, Matt? Like, what happened there that, and they've really grown since you've started with them and put those videos out, which just basically shows another step of how powerful YouTube and social media really is.
I don't think it was all me, but I think our partnership was very successful together, and I'm glad to see them grow, because if it's a company that I really believe in, and and I like Gamer Green because they like to do good too, like I got to know Phil and stuff like that. But man, I don't even remember. I think Phil came to me or found me. Phil, I think maybe found me through NEN, or maybe he was just looking online for claw. Because Phil always tells me, I never knew there was a thing for claw machines. Like, he says that all the time.
Like a niche.
Yeah, he never knew this was a thing. Like, like his community. And it's funny because maybe that's how he found me. And then I think maybe he sent me an email there and was like, hey, I own this company, Gamer Green, or blah, 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 and stuff. But I don't know. I'll have to ask him how we, like, our first contact. I don't really remember. But, I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. What is this all about, And then I started seeing, like, they started having the codes on Gamer Green codes on the plush, and it was kind of like, okay, you get a prize, but then you get these little points that you store up for other stuff, real cool stuff on their website. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It's not costing you nothing extra. You could just get this code and you get a prize from the claw machine. I was like, okay, that's kind of win-win. I like that.
Yeah, you get the plush, and then you get the G's, as they're known.
Right.
The G codes.
G tickets.
And basically, it's like kind of like how like Coke rewards points were back in the day, and things like that, where you collect points, and then you go shopping, if you will, for these prizes that you can, X number of points gets you, a pencil topper or something,
Right.
and I mean, they offer some pretty crazy prizes. Like they even have, it's all the way up to, it's right now, it went up. It was like 3 million G's back in the day. Now it's 6 million G's, almost 7, a trip to Vegas.
Wow.
And I mean, there's people that can afford it right now if they really wanted to redeem for it. There's, like I said, I was talking about those millionaires earlier. And, so it's just that this prize redemption center is something that it was a new take going with the arcades on like that type of rewards program. And it's something that just, it was really cool. And I mean, I helped you, I think, film that first Gamer Green video
Walmart.
With the prize pagoda, which is a different type of thing. It's not the code on the plush.
Yeah, these are just little boxes with the codes in them, so they're a little bit easier to win than the plush. Yeah, the little Chinese, the prize pagoda things, which actually I think they're changing that up as we're doing this now, but yeah, that's just, basically it's just a little Chinese takeout box with the code in it, and sometimes they have a little fortune cookie or an action figure, so a little bit easier to win than the plush.
Well, I think what's happening now is they're changing it to, it's called Funny Faces, and I'm pretty sure the G's are still going to be in there. I think the silver G's, the gold G's, and you can actually win a $10 gift card, guys, out of some of these. And I've seen it. I've seen it done by Arcade Wreckage down in Texas. They've won back when they uploaded videos. I mean, they haven't uploaded in a while as of the time of this recording. But they won so many that they've seen like 15 or 20 golden G's, and I think he's gotten like 7 or 8 different gift cards out of it. And so they do exist. I finally got a golden G the other day in Pittsburgh here. Matt and I thought they never existed because we played so much, and it was like, where's all these G's?
It's 10,000. What, 10,000?
5,000.
So it's
golden
5,000.
G's 5,000. Yep.
The standard's 1,000 for a silver.
So basically, guys, G's work like, your points system, instead of being 1 point, 2 points, whatever, they're just
like
1,000.
tickets in an arcade, basically. And basically, Phil's basic idea behind Gamer Green was to have a universal arcade currency. So you know how when you go to like Dave & Buster's or whatever, you have to use their tickets there. Well, with Gamer Green, you can play machines nationwide and redeem for prizes on their website, and they'll ship them to you free, kind of like an Amazon Prime thing. And that's kind of the idea of, like, instead of just wasting your tickets at Chuck E. Cheese on plastic frogs and Chinese finger traps, exciting as they are, you can save up now and play machines anywhere and not have to worry about, I got to redeem them now or here, you know what I mean? So that's kind of his general idea behind it.
Yeah, and you create an account on GamerGreen.com, and you can redeem these G's onto there, and they're stored on there indefinitely. They don't expire, guys. There's no, you have to use them by this date or anything like that. You can save and save and save as much as you want. And, like I said, there's some awesome prizes on there. In fact, I got one of these little light up marquee signs that I have on my desk at my office job, and it says "Have some candy," and I have a candy dish sitting there. So it's just something simple like that, but people can do that and then put like their own message on there. But they have all kinds of different stuff. It's crazy, and it changes all the time. In fact, there was even at one time a plush of Matt.
Of me, yeah. I collaborated with Gamer Green. Phil has those connections on mass producing plush. We're looking at one right now on Joe's stand here, little thing. But yeah, we kind of got together. It was something I've always wanted to do, but I never really know who to go to and who to contact as far as manufacturing these things. And I think we had to order 500 or 1,000 or something. I don't remember how many total he had to order, but yeah, we kind of got a little design, and it was based off of the original mini Matt plush that a girl from Canada sent me in a Matt's Mail video. That's what we based the plush off of, and yeah, it was on there. And like you said, they got all kind of prizes. I got a freaking Bissell pet vacuum for like 75,000 G's or something.
Holy cow.
It's phenomenal. I needed it, and it works amazing. Like, you can get stuff like that. It's not just like toys and trinkets. You can get like household stuff and stuff that you need. you know, which is really cool. You could never really do that and find like name brand stuff or, you know, just regular household goods, if you will, for like arcade prizes, besides like Dave & Buster's and stuff like that. But, you know, most arcades just have like little toys and trinkets. With Gamer Green, it's kind of like a fresh take where you can get like all kind of prizes.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes up to TVs, bicycles. I mean,
Pool table.
And yeah, pool table.
Had a room.
Anything,
I'd get one totally.
Anything you can think of is pretty much on there. There's quite a few prizes. I mean, I can't put a number on it because I honestly don't know. And they're always adding, changing, and in fact, they have one that's called a mystery prize. It's 10,000 G's. You can get anything.
Ooh.
Literally,
I want a pool table.
Anything.
Mystery pool table.
There's a chance that you can get something that's worth a few 100,000 G's in your mystery prize.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, I mean, we've talked about that as the ambassadors and stuff. So it's crazy, and I wouldn't be a good ambassador if I didn't say download the app, guys. Check it out on the App Store or Google Play, whether you have the Apple devices or Android devices, and also look for the sticker on the NEN and Gamer Green claw machines. You can check in and you get 25 G's for free, guys, just there.
You just scan the QR code and 25 G's right to your account. Just look up the Gamer Green app. It's all one word.
And for you guys that like playing arcade games, there's actually a mini game in the app as well. It's called Piano Keys, mini Piano Keys. Listen to me. It's called Piano Keys, and you can win G tickets for free just by playing the game in the app. So there's easy ways, guys, to just collect G's. I have almost 200,000 banked up just because playing the games and doing stuff. I haven't even redeemed codes in a while, except for that Golden G and stuff recently. But before that, I mean, that's the only way that I was able to bank G's because there's not really a lot of Gamer Green machines around Pittsburgh, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hopefully they're expanding, though. That's kind of our goal. You know, I did a meet and greet out in Wisconsin at Gamer Green's first test arcade, which is like has the arcade games that we know, love, and play all the time, but they give G tickets, and I thought it was awesome. I think there's a lot of potential there. You know, if they start expanding those across the country, oh man, it's just gonna get awesome.
And I think that would be cool because that might give some competition to some of the bigger arcades too that are nationwide, like Round One, Main Event, Dave and Buster's, you know, things like that. But you've done what, 2 of those now? Where you've flown out and did a meet and greet.
The one in Boston wasn't necessarily an arcade. They had some machines like in a mall. They had a spot in the mall. But that was cool, you know. That was the very first one, and I was like, wow, this is interesting, you know. But the one in near Green Bay, Wisconsin, Pulaski, I think is however you say it. Yeah, that was like it was right next to a pizza place, and then it was literally its own room. I've had like, you know, a bunch of games there, Baytech games, and because Baytech Facilities was right there, their headquarters, and it was really cool. I thought the concept, man, I was like, man, if you can start getting these everywhere, then you got something going, you know, because not only are the G's easier to earn, it'll make people want to engage more, you know, because the plushie G's, yeah, they're cool, but that would take forever if you're just playing a plushie claw machine to get up to like even 100,000, you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
That's a lot, but you know, I think there's something there, and I think, you know, hopefully we'll see them expand even more as the years come.
Absolutely, and if you're lucky enough to have a prize pagoda by you, I mean, those are 1,000 G's. But they did recently change the plush codes and all that to be random numbers. They can be, I think, as low as 500, maybe a little lower, but they can go up to 2,500. So I know people that have gotten them and, you know, gotten like 2,300 tickets. Yeah, it's always a random number too. It's like it never ends in 00.
2,301.2.
2,312 or something like that. It's like 3756, right? But no, guys, check out Gamer Green. Seriously, check them out on the App Store, Google Play, things like that. Download the app. You can look and see where these machines are at near you. They're hopefully going to add a feature very soon to update locations when they close. You know, people can report, hey, this machine's no longer here. And people can report, hey, there is a machine here now, and maybe vendors can put them in as they install them. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it on Gamer Green for this stuff. It's crazy that they took you out to places. I mean, how many fans have you met at these meet and greets?
Hundreds,
like, that's crazy.
In total, probably close to 1,000, but hundreds. Every meet and greet that I would go to, we would have, over 100 and some people. Like the very first one in Boston was over 200, just over 200, and I was like, there was like a line, and I looked at the camera and Phil, it might even be in the video. I was like, holy crap. Like, this is insane, you know? But I never thought that this would turn into this.
Absolutely. Well, how many fans did you guys expect? I mean...
Oh, I told Phil, I said, we might get maybe 15, 20 fans. He's like, well, let's try to shoot for 50 then, because, Phil being...
well, yeah, you always got to go bigger, yeah.
Right. So he's like, yeah, if we can get 50, 60, it'd be good. I didn't expect 200 the first time. That was insane.
I remember that one that was in the mall, that video of it, and you're you're standing on the table yelling.
Yeah, that was the Boston one, our first one.
Yeah, through your hands, like cupped hands, just so people could hear you, because that's how many people there were, and that's how deep the sea of people was. It was crazy. Yeah. So, but now you need a sound guy to take some sound stuff out with you. Wink, wink, Phil. Wink, wink.
Well, Phil finally got me a megaphone.
Okay.
I think we had him.
He needs a DJ, though. He needs an entertainer, man.
Joe the
Just
DJ.
Kidding. Just kidding. This concludes the end of part 1 of episode 3 of this podcast for YouTube. Stay tuned next time for part 2.